Man, do mechanical work. Cummins ISM water pump. Weep hole is weeping, so you know it's time to change it. First, we disconnect the battery, then we take the intake air, one side of the air filter housing, then loosen the bands on the turbo snort, then remove the bands in the boot going to the turbo house. Once out the way, it's time to drain the coolant system. Once that's drained, we remove certain things so we can further get to the water pump, like the oil dip tube, the inlet tube coming from the reservoir. Certain bolts and screws may be rusted, so you might have to put a little heat to them or some WD-40 or some brake lube. Removing these things create more space because you're in a tight working area. Next, we remove the bands for the hoses that's connected to the water pump. Next, we will locate and remove all bolts that mounts the water pump to the engine. First, we start with the two that's hidden and tucked up under the thermostat housing. Then there's three that's connected to the engine, which the water pump is a gear-driven water pump. This particular water pump has a housing in the rear of it, so you have to take the pump off and then take the pump apart to get it to drop out the bottom of the truck, because it comes in two pieces. But the water pump is one piece, but the piece that's connected to the rear is, connected to the thermostat housing. And once I get it out, you will be able to see it. Once I got all the bolts out, then you will match up the water pumps. Just make sure you have the right one. For finessing and getting it to fall out the bottom was tricky. Like I said, you have to take it apart inside of there. And that's me removing the dip tube. The dip tube is still in there. The oil dip tube is better to get it out the way. Once I broke it down into two pieces, I was able to drop it out the bottom. And then once you get it out the bottom, you're able to, physically work on it. Comparing the two and making sure that you have the right part, the right amount of gaskets, seeing what pieces you have to change. The wheel was ate up and about gone. The weep hole was open and was spilling water everywhere. The new pump matched up. Certain things you gotta take off, put new flanges and gaskets in spots. That's me taking the hose from the thermostat housing that connects to the thermostat housing at the bottom. Take that piece off and put it on the new water pump. Then you got new gaskets. You clean up the areas so you can, reassemble. New gaskets. I like to put a little gasket maker around certain spots, to make sure I don't get a leak. It's you putting the ring around it. Clean the area on the engine block. Then I drop the water pump back in there. In the same way something comes off, it's the same way you put it back together. You just do it in reverse. Just remember, the way you came, it's the way you go back. Remember, man do this shit, so you can too. ISM Cummins water pump installation.